Okay, so last night was crazy. Chargers beat the Bengals 34-27. So I was thinking, watching this game, what you witnessed was two kind of funky franchises, the Bengals and the Chargers historically. And what you saw in the first half was a quarterback put on a clinic. And then what you saw in the second half was the other quarterback put on a clinic. In the first half, Justin Herbert was insane, 240 yards. I mean, he's got very little to work with, receiver and tight end. 2 touchdowns, 153 passer rating, 71% completion percentage, 24-6 at half. I kept thinking in the first half, Jesus, Herbert is so good, he makes Joe Burrow look pedestrian. He was that good in the first half, just absolutely on fire. And then in the second half, Joe Burrow may have been better. Joe Burrow was so good in the second half, I thought, good God, Joe Burrow was so good, he makes Justin Herbert look pedestrian. It was MJ against the Blazers. Burrow made 2 or 3 of the best plays I've seen a quarterback make all year. 3 touchdowns, no picks, 273 yards, 104 passer rating. Now, he's got more stuff to work with. But what you're looking at with Herbert and Burrow, they're similar in some ways, smart guys, but Herbert's a power quarterback. He's a bigger, stronger power thrower. Joe is got a little better touch, a little more clever, can be a little bit more creative. They're both unbelievable. They're both bright kids, workaholics. You know, they're not looking for a lot of love in the endorsement game. Oh, I guess this year Joe Burrow off season went to a fashion show and he's got the little stuff in his hair. But in the end, I'm sitting there thinking, unless you have a Mahomes, Josh Allen, that last night I'm sitting on a couch thinking, man, 90% of the teams in this league, fans in this league, GMs in this league, owners in this league, had to have quarterback envy watching these two teams play.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we're talking about Justin Herbert here. Justin Herbert's an absolute beast. This idea that people like to act like he's overrated or not as good. No, his teams have not been good. And the perfect example of that is either looking at Justin Herbert over the years or just look at what Joe Burrow's doing this year. Joe Burrow's balling out. I mean, he's thrown for 9 touchdowns against the Baltimore Ravens, 8 or 9 touchdowns, and they've lost both those games. Whereas the Pittsburgh Steelers had no touchdowns and just beat the Ravens. So it's always obnoxious when you think about how much praise and blame these quarterbacks get for the successes or the failures of their teams. But Justin Herbert is an absolute bona fide elite top quarterback in the NFL. And so what does this signal to me? That the Chargers, first off, can win the division this year, because what is their ceiling? You need a little bit of luck from the Kansas City Chiefs to lose to, say, the Broncos and whatnot. But it is absolutely positively on the table. I'm not exactly sure how the tiebreaker would work, especially if they're truly tied in terms of, I know it'll come down to also then the divisional record, but considering how that all may balance out, I'm not sure if they would need to at least get the game on them or how the tiebreaker continues to go forward when things remain tied at the various levels. So it'll be big. I think the Chargers absolutely could potentially win this division. Like I said, it will take a little bit of the football gods, but at the very least, what has this signaled to me, and this is what I've been saying, the Chargers are going to win a Super Bowl within the next 3, 4, 5 years. Like they are going to be a truly special team. And 5 years is long. That's like too long. I mean, like this team, this quarterback, this coach, they are for real. Again, I'm not saying that they're going to be able to come out here and shock the world this season and go off and win a Super Bowl. It's probably not going to happen. I don't think that they have the team just yet, but we know what they can do. And they're still refining and they're still cleaning things up. And Justin Herbert is still learning Harbaugh, and Harbaugh is still learning Justin Herbert. This is all a process. This has always been about a process. In a lot of ways, people didn't even think that they were going to have this amount of success this soon. So I think that the reign of the Kansas City Chiefs dominating that division is 1,000% over. 1,000. I said that last week when the Denver Broncos pretty much had that game, because I'm looking at Justin Herbert. I'm looking at Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. I'm looking at Harbaugh. I'm looking at Payton, and I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's over. I'm not to say that they're never going to win the division again, but it's just like this is now a 3-horse race. These are going to be some competitive, intense, down to the wire games. I mean, you're just not going to look at a quarterback like Justin Herbert and pick many quarterbacks over him. In fact, I'm pretty confident that the Chargers really don't want any other quarterback but Justin Herbert. I mean, the dude's a monster. He's a beast as well. Look how he's been using his legs too. I mean, the guy can do it all. And he's got an amazing head on his shoulders. He's the exact type of person you want to lead your team, to be the face of your franchise. Him and Harbaugh work. They connect. They see eye to eye. I mean, it's just what the Chargers have been doing has really been super impressive. They're winning games easy. They're winning hard games. They're winning tough games. They're winning close games. I mean, they're doing a little bit of it all, quite frankly. I mean, some of the throws that Herbert was making, you just had Collinsworth just laughing the whole time. You know, Herbert had like one missed throw, which happens, right? He had that one main throw. I forget who it was, who it was to. When it was like to convert that third down, I think it was in like the fourth quarter. It was a big down, and it could have come back to haunt them, absolutely. But those things just happen sometimes. It just is what it is. You can't like zero in too much on a bad throw here and there. Obviously, if you consistently do that in moments that matter, that's when you start to say, okay, is this a pattern? Is this a problem? Obviously not with Justin Herbert. I just think if you give Justin Herbert a team around him, you give him the right coach, you give him a defense that can actually support the team, and you give him some weapons and an O-line, and he will absolutely dominate. He will be surgical. I mean, the throws, his accuracy, his decision-making, his anticipation, that's what they just kept, again, that's what Collinsworth kept saying. That throw is on a rope, on a rope, on a rope. I've never heard someone say that so frequently in a game. Obviously, it's a common expression, but it was just like, you could just keep saying it again and again and again and again and again with Herbert. I mean, it's just if you're watching both those quarterbacks, honestly, Joe Burrow as well, watching those games, you just saw two quarterbacks in their bag. Like, it was interesting because the other duel that night was Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. And it wasn't like perfect quarterback play by either team, quite frankly, right? Like, it was definitely a little bit more of like the mobility of Josh Allen and a couple really nice throws, and Patrick Mahomes had some really nice throws as well, and some nice moments. But it wasn't like their best games, hardly from it. Right? I think Josh Allen's rating was like 90, and Patrick Mahomes was like 83 or something around that, or reverse that, something in the 80s, 90s. But like when you saw the high level quarterback play and some of the throws that both Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert were making, you're just like, this is like textbook quarterback play. Like, this is, if someone was like, I've never watched football a day in my life, what does a quarterback do? What is football? You would say, watch this. This is quarterback play right here. This is what it takes. And it was just an awesome game. And it was a fun, like, the Chargers obviously had a big lead, and then the Bengals came back. It was, if you're a Chargers fan, you want to see the Chargers clean that up for sure. If you're just a general football fan, you're just like, hey, this is an awesome comeback, awesome back and forth game. Like, there was definitely a point where you're like, oh my God, are the Chargers about to blow this game? Right? You got missed field goals and stuff. I mean, this game had a little bit of everything. It felt like the Chargers fans were really in it. They coming up from San Diego or something. Like, where did they come from? Just an exciting game, fun game. Really interested to see if the Chargers can pull off and win this division. It'll be interesting. It's possible. It's definitely possible. Probable? I don't know. Possible? Without a doubt. Playoffs? Without a doubt. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, and what the ceiling is for this season with Harbaugh and Herbert? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.